Welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
I'm Brandon.
Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Yes, thank you for joining us as always.
All right, Brandon, how are you doing today?
Mom, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, Brandon. You ready to talk about another week at General Hospital?
I sure am, Mom.
All righty. So we are talking about the week of March 30th through April the 3rd. And are you ready, Brand?
Mom, I'm ready. Let's go for it.
All righty. So let's give a recap of what happened this week. Nathan has been exposed to the audience. So basically, Nathan goes to go see Sidwell. They have a conversation. Sidwell then refers to him as Cassius Faison, and Nathan does admit to being then Nathan slash Cassius admits to being Nathan's twin. And so this is the beginning of the new personality of Nathan slash Cassius. And so, Brandon, what were your thoughts about that when you heard a little bit of the backstory?
Well, we did see much earlier, months ago when Nathan first came back that, of course, his return back was in a very mysterious way, and that Britt was outwardly suspicious, was not warm to Nathan at all. But, in these months that followed, again, we've sort of seen Nathan resort back to his life, but we always did find suspicious that he never went to go visit Maxie. And again, Britt was very cold to Nathan. They did have some moments, but it wasn't anything too in depth. So to see this sort of twist, I sort of saw it coming, not necessarily Cassius, but I knew that Nathan probably wasn't Nathan from what it sounds like. And the General Hospital website even mentioned the mystery on its bio for Nathan. So that in itself made me think, wonder what they're going to do, but it's also been quite a while.
Yes, and you're so right, Brandon. That's something that you and I have talked about. And what is the past of Nathan? Why is no one really curious about where he's been over the course of the years? We think that, in talking amongst ourselves, that Anna was the only one who seemed to be very, very suspicious. I mean, others have said some things, but Anna was the one who was very suspicious of him. But everyone else just kind of took that face value that Nathan was Nathan. And then, to find out that also that Brit, pretty sure knew about him also. And we say that just because of the way that she acted toward him. And then, of course, she did mention that her father had 4 children. And so she just kind of let that slip out. I can't remember who she was speaking with, but she did let that slip out also. And so he's known from the beginning. And so we'll have to see what Cassius is really up to, besides, of course, working for Sidwell, or maybe it's the other way around, not quite sure. But we just know that they are working together. And it'll be interesting to see the relationship between he and Britt to see how they are together. All right. So that's one thing that happened this week. And it was a big thing for the storyline. All right. And then in other news, Carly and Brennan discuss Jason and where he could possibly be. Of course, Brennan says he doesn't know where he is. Brooklyn and Chase, they actually meet with the social workers, our social worker, about being a foster parent for Phoebe. And let's see, Joss attempts to try to kill Cullum. She is not, of course, successful in that because Cullum wakes up and looks at her. Lucas and Sidwell are distracted by, of course, Marco, the death of Marco. Willow overhears Trina and Kai talking about Willow shooting Drew. And so this will be interesting to watch. Willow, of course, has thought that she has gotten away with what she's done. And she became a little suspicious last week because one of them, I can't remember which one, made a comment about the ringtone on her phone. And then someone said that you could hear it from the bedroom. And at that point, Willow kind of perked right up. But then she point blank overheard Trina mention that they're aware that Willow was the one who shot Drew. And so we'll have to see where that ends up. Curtis and Nina end up making up. Danny gets into a fight at school. Molly ends up having surgery. Michael visits Drew, and he also wonders about his blinking that he's doing. Then Jordan and Sidwell meet, And Sidwell wants Jordan to find information on Marco's death, and he wants her to go to the police station to see what she can do to kind of figure things out. Brennan asked Jacinda for information about Charlotte and Valentine. He wasn't quite sure what Jacinda knew, but he thought he'd lay the groundwork there. Sidwell and Lucas talk about who could have possibly killed Marco, and then Sidwell asks Lucas to move into Windermere. Britt speaks with Brad and slaps him. Rocco and Geo speak about Jason, and Laura and Sonny speak about their whole predicament in general. And then Sonny and Rick actually went to attend Marco's funeral. They wanted by going there, they want to give a warning to Sidwell, and then they also want to assure him that they did not kill Marco. And of course, then we have the funeral itself for Marco, and that I think is the week in very quickly. All right, Brandon, did I leave anything out?
No, I think that was overall the gist of it. And going back to what you were saying earlier, it was Britt and Jocelyn talking.
Okay, Britt Jocelyn. All righty. All right, so let's talk about our performers of the week. Brandon, I kind of paired them up a little bit. I had, well, Lucas and Sidwell to me. Lucas did an incredible job this week. He has so many important scenes. And so Lucas speaking to Sidwell and Lucas speaking to Britt, I thought they were very emotional, and I think the actor who plays Lucas did a wonderful job. Sidwell also did a good job this week. Also, he is going back and forth. He's hurting for Marco, but then at the same time he wants revenge, but he doesn't know where to get the revenge from. He, of course, believes it's Sonny, but he very much so, I think, likes Lucas or what Lucas did for Marco. So they both had wonderful scenes this week. But then I want to give credit to Nathan because Nathan slash Cassius did a good job too. He's been kind of just the character that's just been there with, doing things but not doing things. And so it's finally nice to see the other side come out. So I think all three of them did a great job this week. All right, Brandon, who's your performer of the week?
I'm gonna actually agree with you with your grouping. I thought that was a good group. I was just going to say I really thought that while of course this is a different tone than the previous week, I will say that I still think everyone did a very good job, and I feel that there were a lot of mini highlights in the sense of like Nathan and Nathan, I should say, Britt, Lucas, Sidwell, and so I feel that they all did a really great job.
Yes. And we have to figure out what we're going to call Nathan now. Are we going to call him Nathan? Or are we going to call him Cassius? I don't know. We'll figure that out in times to come. All right. Then, as for the amusement for the week, Willow's conversation with Drew. I am amused by Willow just speaking to Drew and the things that she's saying. And Drew's just kind of sitting there because that's all he can do right now. But I'm kind of amused by Willow. And then also, Molly and Cody had a really cutesy hospital scene. And so, as Molly was waking up from her surgery, the medicine was still working. Or the anesthesia rather. And so, I like the conversation that they had. All right, Brandon, what about you?
Yes, Cody shall have no more sleeves.
Yes, Cody shall not have sleeves. That is
Yes,
what Molly said.
yes, and I really loved the whole thing with the animal crackers. That I don't know if that was like some sort of sponsorship or promotion because I'm pretty sure those were the real animal crackers, but they just had to zoom in for that. And Molly and Cody gushing over animal crackers, I just thought that was amusing. And then I'll add to that. So for one of my scenes of the week, Brooklyn is mad at Michael, and so Michael says, "Can I have some of the juice?" In which Brooklyn takes all of the orange juice and pours it into her cup and drinks it. And I guess that's her way of revenge for pushing Chase towards Willow.
The Quartermains have all sorts of ways of getting revenge. Orange juice it is.
Yes, and of course, who can forget Wiley asking the lovely question to the social worker about Jacinda?
Yes, yes. All right. And then as for touching scenes for the week, for me, it was Lucas and Britt. Those are the two that I kind of that stand with me. I think more than anything because they did have some nice scenes together. What about you for touching scenes?
Okay, I'm gonna go in the complete opposite direction. I really did like Sidwell and Lucas, and Sidwell and Britt and Lucas, but I'm gonna go in a different direction, and I'm going to say Lucas